test or my timer thing up. Starting now. Well, I think, yeah, that showed up. My voice is barely showing up over there. Well, do the intro.
Welcome to the Korn and Kock podcast. May I take your order, please?
Nope.
3 bottled waters and a large Coke. Anything else?
No, that'll be it, fam.
It's going to be 69, 40, 20. Come to the window, please.
You know, see, the difference between that, me going through that drive-thru and Whataburger drive-thru is the Whataburger drive-thru takes about 5 minutes. You know, they ask a question, I answer it, and then there's about 5 minutes of dead silence, and then they'll be like, you want anything else? And then I'll answer it again, and then 5 more minutes of dead silence.
So you gonna order anything else or what? Do you want anything else? Do you want dick? You want dick?
You want... Oh, you watched that Jack Black clip I sent you last night,
Who
right?
sent you? You jizz?
Big boob alert.
Red tube?
Submit your bitch.
Big pussy cream pie?
Kung Pao pussy.
What movie is that from? Sex tape?
Yeah, have you seen that movie?
I haven't.
Yeah, there's a movie called Sex Tape out there, and I've actually seen clips of it. It actually looks pretty funny. I'm not like bashing it.
Well, any of those movies that have those like washed up women actresses that are like known for how quote unquote funny they are.
Cameron Diaz
I usually
is
stay.
funny.
Fuck Cameron
I'm
Diaz.
saying she's a great actor. I'm saying she's a funny actress. You
I
know?
want Cameron Diaz to act getting hit by a train in real life. That'd be muy epic funny.
You know what's funny to me is you know Kate Winslet, right?
The name sounds familiar, but I can't put a face to it.
Titanic.
Oh yeah.
Do you know how many nude scenes she's done in movies?
How many?
Literally, it's like 8 or 10. It's
8 or 10.
It's way up there, and you think to yourself, do these scenes include the nude? Like when they wrote the script, did it say there's a nude scene, or did she come up and just throw out the idea? Hey, you guys want to do a nude scene? I'm totally down for it. You know, it's just like when you're an actor or an actress and you've done about 2 or 3 nude scenes, it's fine. But when you get out to like 5 or 6, do you enjoy doing them, or like what? Because there's no way in every single movie you're in there's a nude scene in it. But I don't know.
She go up to Leo DiCaprio's butthole and she go, I like it when I get naked in front of you, in front of camera, in front of millions of people who will watch this and make this the most watched and paid for movie in the box office history.
How much did it make? It was like 2.2 billion.
Oh, well now it's got to make way for Thanos and his big purple cock.
Oh yeah. Speaking of Thanos and his purple cock, I saw Solo today.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
That's right. There's going to be a new Star Wars movie every year for the rest of our lives till we're all dead. How was it?
Have you seen it?
I have not, and I don't care about spoilers, so if you want to spoil it to me, go ahead.
What about the people listening?
Hey, if you actually give a shit about Solo, go jump in a hole and stay there for a few months.
Here's a spoiler.
Learn your place, filth. I'm
Here's
just kidding. I love you.
Here's a spoiler before we continue. So, yeah, there you go. There's nothing really to spoil. It's Han Solo. It's Chewie. You know they're gonna live. So all the scenes that had Han like, ooh, there's a gun in his face. You know, I would be surprised if they did pull the trigger and, you know, kill him. But, of course, they didn't. But it was okay. I enjoyed it. It was, you know, enjoyable. But that's it. You know, I would recommend it if you're a Star Wars fan. But if you're not a Star Wars fan, you're not really, you know, missing out on much.
Well, like, here's the thing. So, it's kind of in the same weird gray area that Rogue One is in, right? Because in Rogue One, you know that everything's gonna happen. Like you know what's gonna happen. Like, they're gonna get the fucking Death Star plans because it's in between episodes 3 and 4. Like,
Yeah.
Of course they're going to, because that's what happens in episode 4. But, like, I feel with that one, it was more interesting because it was characters we never see, even though they don't, like, really do anything, and in the end, they all die. Like,
Well,
who
the
ca-
thing
who-
is-
But in Solo, it's just like, oh, it's Han Solo and Chewbacca. There's this fucking scene where it seems like Chewbacca is gonna bite the dust, but guess what? He doesn't. Like, you just released Last Jedi last year. He's still alive.
Yeah, and the problem is at least with Rogue One, And when I say if you're not a Star Wars fan, you're not missing out on much. Rogue One, you can watch that as a Star Wars fan, and you can watch that not as a Star Wars fan because it's about stealing the Death Star plans. And you made a good point. You know what's going to happen, but you don't know how they did it or how they do it. And that's what Rogue One did. Solo is basically like... Because I went into the movie thinking, is it just going to be Han Solo after he graduates high school and he's kind of floating around trying to get a job or whatever, but it, kind of wasn't. I wish it would have been. That would have been kind of funner, because the movie opens with him stealing something, of course, and then getting caught. The whole movie is him stealing something and then getting caught, and then just laughing with a gun in his face, and then he walks away. That's the whole movie.
Sounds like a typical Thursday to me.
Yeah, you're telling me. I mean, what else is there? There's just a couple of things in that movie that were just like, Emilia Clarke's in it. You know who she is?
Yeah, she's Dragon Bitch from Game of Thrones.
She is Dragon Bitch. Well, she's really, really cute and really hot in this movie. But my problem with her is they could not make up their minds if she was a good or bad woman. Not bad guy, bad woman. Because literally, the movie opens, they're together, they get separated. A few years later, they meet up again. But she's working with the bad guys, but she's a good guy. And then she betrays him. Then she comes back. Then she betrays him again. Then she ends as a bad guy. But you're still not sure. And you're like, dude, make up your mind. Is she good or bad? Honestly, I wish they would have just killed her off. That would have been more, what is it? Not gut-wrenching, but you would have felt for the character instead of, oh, she's a bad guy. Who saw that coming?
It'd be cool if she got crushed by 4 metric tons of fruitcake.
Woody Harrelson is in it, so you can't take the movie seriously. And Donald Glover's in it too. I mean,
don't you love how Donald Glover raps about his penis, and then all of a sudden Disney and Marvel are like, put him in the movie! Put him in the movies! He's a good actor! Put him in!
Ugh. That was really loud.
Okay. I'm gonna have fun silencing that.
But at the end of the day, it was fun. I enjoyed it. It was okay. I probably won't watch it again. If it's on TV, I might watch a few. Because there's some scenes that were enjoyable, but overall, it was basically, hey, we need to milk this Star Wars thing, so let's make a Han Solo movie, which is not a terrible idea. But I heard they're gonna make Boba Fett, and I don't give a shit about Boba Fett.
He's gonna have 5 lines, and then he falls into the fucking sand hole again.
Yeah, what's that movie gonna be about? His build up to him flying into the sand mouth or whatever? Come on, man. Make a Obi-Wan movie with Ewan McGregor walking around the desert. I would totally be fine with that movie, but they're not gonna do that.
I think they already did. It's called Men Who Stare at Goats.
Yeah, have you seen that movie?
I have.
It's pretty good.
I know, I like it.
Well, one of the last lines in that movie is, one of my favorite movie lines is the comebacks, right?
Yeah.
You know how one of my favorite movie lines in history is, it's in the movie The Comebacks, which is a parody movie but still hilarious. The line is, they're playing a football game and someone takes a gun and shoots the other player and the ref doesn't do anything and the coach is like, come on, ref, that's attempted homicide, you gotta call that. That's one of my favorite lines. One of my other favorite lines is at the end of that Men Who Stare at Goats, and it shows the scene, because it's been years since I've seen it. It's like the scene where one of the guys gets in the helicopter. It's like George Clooney and some other guys, they get in a helicopter and fly away. Obi-Wan is on the ground looking up at them. And then Ewan McGregor's narrating the movie, and he says something like, and that was the last time I ever saw so-and-so. I don't know if you ever made it. I heard the plane helicopter crashed, but I guess that's what you get when you fly a helicopter on LSD. and then they go on to the next scene, and then the movie's over, and it's like,
I guess that's what happens.
It's like, I like how he's like, I guess that's what you get for flying a helicopter on LSD. I don't know. I'd have to see that movie again, because that's like, based on a true story. But every movie nowadays is based on a true story. You can watch a movie about goats, and it'll be like based on a true story, and then you look up the story, and it's not even based on that. Not everything is even true. So, what are you doing? It's how you sell the movie. It's a good marketing ploy. Duh. But anyways, it's been a little over a month since we've done this, so we're a little rusty, a little tired.
I got tetanus. That's how rusty we are.
Like, what is it?
Put up the comedy wizard. Put it. There it is.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Hey, are you hungry?
I am not, but I'll go with you to get food after this.
Alright, cool.
Hello, everyone. This is... Fuck. Dude, Review Bra just got 1 million subscribers the other day.
Who's Review Bra?
He's that guy with the slick backed hair. He's got that mousy face, and he like reviews the food.
Well, that guy?
Yeah, he sits in his car.
He got 1 million views?
He got 1 million subscribers.
Oh, subscribers, not views. How did he get 1 million subscribers?
By literally sitting in his car and doing just that. Dude, if you actually watch him, he's like a super reserved. He's like super mellow. He's
well, I mean,
he's so nice.
Bad. I'm not saying anything bad against him personally. I just like watch his videos and it's just like it's.
Hello, everyone.
It not only is it cringy, it's just like
I don't
think it's that funny.
Ripping on empty.
Ripping on empty.
No, it's ripping off empty.
I don't
Podcast. Well, hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us.
What the fuck?
I'm your host, the Alm of the Week.
The Elm.
Yeah, the Alm of the Week.
Nice.
Like, and it's super funny too. I made a joke with Zane. I was like, dude, I want this guy to be part of our group. And he's like, he would be like Stone and Ben and only want to, we'd be like, hey, dude, you want to go eat at Guido's and get some good old fashioned Italian pizza? And he'd be like, while I do respect your opinion, I do believe that I'd rather have some Pizza Hut pizza today. I hear they're having a new special on a ripped crust pizza.
Wait.
And we're just like, fuck.
Hold on. How is he like me and Ben put together?
Okay, so, well, oh my god, you're kicking the mic stand.
I didn't kick it. I moved it. My bad.
Well, here's the thing.
I kicked it with the chair.
I'll kick you with my chair.
Do it.
I'll
threaten
put
you
it
with a
in
good
you.
time.
No, but so the difference, we found out the difference between you and Ben, right?
Well, there's
so,
not much, but continue.
yeah. So the difference between you and Ben is that Ben will only try a specific kind of food, but he'll try it anywhere. So he'll go to wherever and he'll try like the pizza or the fries or the whatever. And usually he'll like it. And maybe once in a blue moon he'll try something new. You only eat a specific group of foods from specific places.
Yeah.
So, like, you'll only eat wings from Sardella's.
Yeah.
You'll only eat California rolls from Tokyo Express. Did you
That's
know
not
there's a
true.
second? Did you know there's a second Tokyo Express location?
Yeah, there's like 3.
I drove by it today.
Yeah, there's like, well, at least 2. Maybe
I was
3.
flabbergasted.
Really? Dude, of course. I've been to like all of them.
Put that in your
here's the thing.
scrapbook.
The sushi thing is not true. I do eat California rolls from other places. Just Tokyo Express is my favorite.
Okay, I'm sorry. It was a bit of hyperbole on my part. I was making an example.
The wings thing, you're right. I've had wings from like Chili's and oregano. No, not oregano's. Corleone's, and they just weren't that good. So
I don't think Corleone's has wings.
what's the
You
place
you
at PV
had it
Mall?
at Oregano's. You had them at
Was it
Oregano's.
Oregano's?
Yeah.
It's the one at PV Mall where Russell.
Yeah.
We had like 12 people.
Piva, that's Oregano's.
Okay, Oregano's. I had wings at Oregano's, and they were not that good. They were actually not great at all.
Oregano's I've come to like not respect as much anymore. I don't know.
I remember when you guys went through the Oregano's phase.
I mean, it's fun to go there and just chill with some friends, but the food itself it's not super pricey, but at the same time, it's like it's not very high quality. You get what you pay for, you know. It's just
a weird restaurant. I don't really know what decade are they doing? Is it the 40s or the 50s or the what are they doing?
all I know is they have way too many empty tin cans sitting on all the shelves that are collecting dust for no reason other than it looks authentic.
Yeah, that's the thing. Authentic to what? You walk in, you're like, what are we doing? What's going on here? What are you guys trying to convey?
Oh my god, it's I Love Lucy for the 18th time in a row.
Oh, is that the show?
Ooh.
What's that? Is it 60s? I Love Lucy's from the 60s, right?
Was that what?
The show I Love Lucy.
I know you love Lucy, but what about me? What about my feelings?
I don't even love myself.
I don't know. I was just making a dumb joke. I lost all my comedy juice. I don't know. I think someone came to me in the middle of the night and like poked a hole in my side, and all the comedy juice flew out of me.
Well, let me ask this: the whole Ben and me thing is the only difference between me and him is just food, because there are like 10 other things.
Well, there's like 10 other things. I'm talking like specifically about food. So going back to the review broth thing, he would kind of be like you and Ben, except like I mean, I guess he'd try new things from those specific places, but like it had to be from McDonald's or Burger King or Wendy's or Carl's Jr. or fucking Arby's.
Arby's. Well, I mean, I'm not a food guy, and I really don't understand why, like, everyone I talk to tells me I'm not living life to the fullest because I don't eat broccoli or I don't eat mushrooms. And I think to myself, whatever happened to being told jump out of a helicopter, then you're living life to the fullest? But now it's like, no, throw that out the window. You need to sit in your own house or go to a restaurant down the street and eat food. Now you're living life to the fullest.
You haven't eaten sautéed rat. You're not living the full life experience.
Literally, that's where I work right now. You'd be surprised. I walk in, they make pizza, and they give it to me, and I don't, it's got pork chops or ham or black olives.
Fucking like a big old slab of meat, a big old mutton chop.
Yeah, and they're like,
right on the pizza.
And then they go, you're not living life to the fullest because you're not eating this. And I'm like, seriously? Like, that's what living life to the... I mean, I guess expectations are low.
You're working at Sardella's and you're talking shit about not living your life properly to me.
Not just that, but food. So if you're telling me if I take a bite out of mushrooms, I've lived my life to the fullest. There's nothing I can top it. Well, no, that's not true. There are other things. Yeah, there are other things that are obviously bigger than this. So why does it come down to...
Yeah, like meeting Dave Mustaine at a Coyotes game and then calling him a fat faggot. I'd do that. I'd do the shit out of that thing.
Oh, speaking of Coyotes, I want to give a shout out to the Washington Capitals and Alex... Capitals. Yeah, I fucked that up. Capitals and Alex Ovechkin for their first Stanley Cup trophy or win. Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
I really liked it when he threw that 3-pointer from the 10-yard line.
Good sport, but
good sport.
Not good sport, but wrong guess. I don't like basketball.
I don't like most things. I just wanna go to sleep for 4 years. See what's new.
4 years. Speaking of sleeping, have you watched that show 13 Reasons Why?
No. All right, that was a good discussion.
I guess that's the end of that. I mean,
moving on.
I started watching it. It's, remember last year when it first came out and everyone was making a big deal about it? People are like,
it's so controversial. It talks about suicide and bullying. And then
angst.
Oh, that's gonna sound fucking wonderful.
So like,
but then like you watch it and like the whole show is just the characters aren't actually characters. They're just like they took a mental illness and they just slapped it on some random person and they were like, this is what's going to define this character. Rather than writing a story about characters who have to deal with problems, like the problems are the characters themselves and nothing like happens. This is
I thought you never seen the show before.
Oh well, I watched a video by the YouTuber I Hate Everything, and he made really good points.
Well, first of all, I just watched the first 2, but right now the show should be called Everyone is an Asshole to Clay Jansen. That's what the show should be called, because literally everyone just hates Clay Jansen. And like I said, I'm only 2 episodes in, so I don't really know why. I don't know why yet. But fuck, he can't walk down the hallway without someone giving him a dirty look. And he doesn't do anything. Someone gives him a dirty look and he just goes... He walks away like...
Well, hey man, in sophomore year, I think it was, like every day when I'd walk the same way to class, and every single day these upperclassmen would try to like swat my sketchbook out of my hand. The exact same spot every single day, and then eventually I just started going the other way and they never did it again. So it's like, I wish they would portray bullying in a realistic way. Like anyone who's smart enough to like catch on to bullying knows that like no one nowadays will go out of their way to fucking pummel a kid. Like 4 years in high school, I didn't realize that at all. You'd think that in Arizona, where we're like 49th in education in the entire country, you'd think that'd be like, that's where the most bullying happens, right? Like uneducated people, uneducated behavior. Nah, dude, it was the complete opposite. It's like the worst it ever got was like I saw this one kid getting like shoved slightly, and that was it.
I don't know. Yeah, like you watch like these movies. First of all, you ever gone into a high school nowadays and look around? No one is tall. People are just getting shorter. So when you watch these movies and TV shows about these high schoolers and they look like they're as tall as our dad,
They're like, our dad.
Yeah, like your dad, my dad. You watch these movies, all these jocks are 6.5 feet tall.
If you say our dad, that it seems to imply that we have the same dad. You should have said our dads.
Our dad is the same height. The point is, these movies they're not even close. Maybe that's what maybe people were taller back in the day, but nowadays, fuck, dude. You know how tall you are?
Yeah.
I think you're like the last class I saw anyone who was nearly as tall as you. Because when I was a senior, everyone was like around 5.5 feet, maybe 5'10", 5'11". But you watch these movies or TV shows, everyone is like over 6 feet tall. Everyone's 6 feet 5 inches or whatever.
Everyone's giving Shaquille O'Neal a fucking run for his money.
Yeah, I know. And then you go again, in real life, nowhere close. And then I don't know. Again, I was never bullied or whatever, but why is it in like movies and TV shows people would just bully people right in front of a teacher and then just not give a shit and keep going? That would never happen in real life.
No one's that stupid.
Are you kidding me? In real life, people don't do anything because somebody's watching. A teacher's watching. Every time you do something, it gets back like that. But again, that's nowadays. Everyone's got a phone.
Well, okay, the worst it ever got was... I lied. The worst it ever got, and I was like an eyewitness to this. This was fucking hilarious. I don't know if I've ever told you, but story time. I have a friend named Alex. He's the guy I do triple backflip with. If you don't know what triple backflip is, you're missing out. Check it out in the channel description below. Shameless plug. Don't worry, I also plug your drum cover channel as well.
Boy.
It's down there. Rush Bauer drum cover channel. Anyway, so I have a friend in high school, Alex, triple backflip. And we were at lunch one day, and he had his lunch tray with like his chocolate milk, his little piece of shitty bread.
Oh, I've heard this before.
Yeah, and all of a sudden, this little, I don't know how else to describe him without being extremely like prejudiced. But okay, I'll just say he was like short, mousy, had a big nose, freckles. Like he was just like this 4 foot tall munchkin that was like super skinny. And sounded like he was like one of the chipmunks in Alvin and the Chipmunks constantly. His name was his name. See, the only reason I stuttered there was I was wondering if I should give him a funny nickname, like Fag Bitch or Smelly Boy.
Just say his first name.
Yeah, all right, fine. His name was Matt, and so he slithered along the ground to our lunch spot one day, and he came up and went goy goy shekel shekel. I'm just kidding. No, he went up to Alex's lunch tray and he was like, "Hey, can I borrow this milk? Just, friendly, just whatever." And Alex was like, sure, why not? Here you go. Could I have it back when you're done?" He's like, "Yeah, sure, whatever."
What?
And so I don't know what the fuck he did with the milk. I think he just like had it in his hands and was just running around talking to random people. And then all of a sudden, Alex is like, "Hey, I kind of want that milk to drink. It's my lunch." And
it's my lunch.
And the fucking kid squeezes the milk and thrusts his hand towards Alex at the same time, effectively like just splashing the chocolate milk all over himself.
Oh god.
For no reason. And then Alex like throws down his lunch tray. Fucking runs over to grab the kid. Now, bear in mind, so this kid is like a 4 foot tall munchkin, right? Like, you could break him over. A light breeze would carry him away.
And let me say, Alex, not Korn, but the other Alex.
The other Alex,
he's one
dude
of
is like
you don't want to fuck
a
with
little
this
shorter
guy.
than me. I'm like 6'3". I'd say he's like 6'1". But this dude is fucking built like a brick wall. You'll be lucky if, like, I'm sure that his body could stop a bullet. Multiple bullets, probably.
Yeah, you don't want to fuck with this guy. If there was a Juggernaut in real life, he would give the Juggernaut a run for his money.
Seriously. Anyway, so messing with Alex is a big no-no. You done fucky wucky.
Oh, it's like oh shit, why the fuck did I do that? I'm not gonna get back for dinner tonight.
No, so here's what happened. So Alex goes to grab him, and in a fit. in a last-ditch attempt to defend himself, Matt throws the, like, empty carton at Alex. Like just throwing this, like, piece of cardboard at him for no reason.
Why don't you throw a piece of popcorn at the guy while you're at it?
And then, so Alex, like, grabs him by the head, and this little worm is, like, trying to fucking slither away so he can tell his mom and get Alex suspended. So Alex just slams his head into, like, a brick wall nearby. Not like
holy shit,
megaton punch, but just, you know, knowing what that kid can do, knowing what Alex can do, that was a love tap. It was a fucking love tap.
Love tap. That was probably like a fair warning.
But like the entire time, like this kid was just like swinging at Alex's face, just like trying to get him to let go, even though he's the one who fucking started it. And then he right into the wall. Right into the wall again. And then Alex lets go, and the kid's like stumbling around, like trying to gain his composure. I'm pretty sure that oh no, yeah, he did like pass out in the hallways later on, because he
oh, I wonder fucking why.
He limped away like the little pussy he was. And then 5 minutes later, the vice principal comes over and she's like, "You come with us." And Alex was like, "Okay." And they go to the office, and Alex was suspended for 3 days. And Matt was suspended for 4 days. And then after that, Matt left the school because apparently people had bullied him. And I wonder fucking why.
He left because he was being bullied.
He left,
but then he instigated this.
Yes, it makes you wonder. No, you know what's really funny? This Matt kid, Zane went to high school with him like years before that. And he was known for just being a total fucking douchebag.
An instigator?
Yeah, seriously. Like one day, Zane was just playing Pokemon Fire Red on his DS, and he just comes up and pulls the Game Boy cartridge right out of the DS, corrupting the game and ruining everything for no reason. Zane never did anything to him.
Yeah, see, Zane's another guy that you don't really want to mess with, because here's the thing. I haven't really hung out with Alex. We'll call him Alex B, because there's two Alexes. So, you know, I haven't really hung out with Alex B. In fact, I think I've only had one conversation with the guy. But I wouldn't want to mess with him. Zane's the kind of guy who will, you know, you don't want to mess with him because he'll either yell at the top of his lungs that you'll go deaf and you'll lose your hearing, or he'll just beat the shit out of you. It's either or. But with Alex B, you know he's going to beat the shit out of you, and he'll do it with a stone cold look on his face. He won't be smiling while he does it. He'll just be stone cold, just beat the shit out of you.
He derives no pleasure from this experience. He just does what he needs to do.
He's like, "You made me do this." He's the kind of guy who would say, "You made me do this," as he's beating the shit out of you. And you're like, "Yeah, I did make you do it."
He's like, I'll give you 3 chances to just fucking walk away. And then you just slap his titties around. And he's like, all right, that was 3 chances.
That sounds like a baseball fight where someone clearly starts it, the other guy responds, and both are like in super high trouble. And you're like, why is the guy who started it in more trouble? How come the guy who got punched and punched back, how come that guy's in just as much trouble? I don't know.
And why aren't you in uniform? Walks in a maid's outfit.
So basically, yeah, when it comes to like portraying high schools and bullying nowadays, you know.
Yeah, they're always so intent on showing some kid who never did anything to anyone, and he's just like getting the short end of the stick, just always getting picked on. It's like show some kid that's like dicking around with other people and then gets the shit kicked out of him. Yeah. Like, be more realistic.
Like, look, we're not saying it doesn't happen. It does, but there are plenty of people. I can name 5 people that today instigated something that kind of deserve to be punched in the face or get diarrhea tonight. But, you know, at least show some little kid or whatever messing with somebody and then gets punched in the face, even though he was, you know, you don't want to say he was asking for it, but he was instigating it. You never see that in movies nowadays. Nowadays, you see these football jocks. You ever seen a football jock nowadays? They're like 5 feet tall. Because again, because height is everything. If you're not tall, then you don't look nearly as intimidating as anyone else. I mean, come on. You don't have to be like super buffed out, but if you're 6'5", it looks a lot better than if you're 5'10" or 5'11".
You can lift however much you want, bro, but if you look like a fucking Oompa Loompa from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, reevaluate your goddamn priorities.
I don't know. you know,
Get knee replacement surgery.
I try to avoid watching like movies and TV shows that portray high schools because again, I know it's just I'm gonna have so many problems with everything. You know, they're gonna portray the teachers as clueless, mindless spectators. They don't know anything. Which again, if you go to any high school, how come in every movie it takes a teacher like 10 minutes to get to a fight when in reality if someone even looks at a student the wrong way, there's a teacher out in the hallway in 2 seconds and already blaming people and getting them sent to the office.
This is true.
I mean, again, and I say this because we both say this because we were both in high school like what, 3, well for me it was 4 years ago, and 3 years ago, I mean, come on, we've seen it. But we don't know what school was like back in the 80s or whatever, because again, imagine that. No one had a camera back then. There was so much shit you could get away with because it would just be your word against the other person's. It's like robbing a bank in the 30s. You could practically get away with it if you weren't there when the cops showed up. Which, that's a joke from somewhere. I just don't know who it's from.
I remember there was one time where I was in front of my geometry class, last period, fucking sophomore year. This kid in my class, well, I don't think, was he in my class? I don't remember, but either way, he just kept pushing me, but like not maliciously, like he wasn't like fuck you. He was kind of like joking around, but I guess he didn't know his own strength, and like he kept pushing me down. I'd get up, and like the moment I got up, he'd like shove me back down to the ground. He did this like 6 or 7 times until I was like, dude, what the fuck is your problem? Quit it. You're being an asshole. And of course, my teacher didn't see him push me down those 7 times, but he comes out and he sees me cussing at this kid. And he's like, all right, it's time to calm down. It's time to calm down. No need for swearing. And I'm like, and he's like, why don't you go sit down? It's time for class. And I'm like, fucking...
Hey, man, that's how it goes. People never see what starts it. That's why when like you go on Facebook and you see some of these videos about like cops shooting people, it starts in the middle of the argument or when it's already over. You never see the build up or whatever. You just see bam, he gets shot, and you're walking in the middle of a movie, in the middle of an action scene, not knowing what's going on, and people are, main characters are getting killed off, and you're like, what? I don't know who's important. I don't know what's going on or whatever. So when someone shows you a video of a cop shooting or whatever, and they go, cops are assholes, you're not given any context or whatever. You just have to kind of say, yes, they are, or no, they're not. And when you ask, what happened? What did the guy do when he got pulled over? That doesn't matter. What matters is, he got shot. And you go, I know he got shot, but what did he do? What happened? Was it a speeding ticket? Did the cop pull him over and ask for license and registration, proof of insurance, and he said no? Or did he, and then he got shot? You never get any of that. You just get a headline, believe it or not.
It's like you go to the gas station and you buy a Mars bar and then you open it up and it's 2/3 eaten. And the rest was just like a styrofoam brick that someone at the factory filled.
Well, this podcast is brought to you by... Wait. Give me a second. Hold on, almost there. What the fuck? Oh, nope, I already did that one.
Oh no, another repeat!
So we gotta...
It sounded familiar.
I think you've heard it before. Well, here's this one. It's the Necromancer. You know who the Necromancer is?
The Necromancer is the man who tells the dead people to shut the fuck up.
No, that's just death.
Alright, who's the Necromancer then?
It's Lord of the Rings. Or it's a character in the Lord of the Rings universe.
Wow. I could give less of a shit.
Well, have you ever seen Lord of the Rings?
Only like part of the second one. Dude, I don't give a shit about. I don't care what anybody says. I don't really give a shit about.
I haven't seen them either, so I'm not gonna give you shit because people give me shit for not seeing Lord of the Rings. And it's not like I'm choosing not to watch it. It just doesn't come up, and the movies are like 3 hours each.
Yeah, I don't have time for that bullshit. I barely have 3 hours to whack off before I go to bed and then wake up and become a wage cuck once again.
Boy.
Well, it's not like
Wait, what's a wage cuck?
someone who works for capitalist society.
Makes sense.
Which basically means you just get up, get a job, work for money, pay taxes, that sort of thing. But so if you do that, you're a wage cuck.
You're a wage cuck.
So to use it in a sentence, Stone and I are both wage cucks.
I mean, yeah. I mean, yeah.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, that's why you go to a job. I hate it when bosses and, management try to guilt you for working for money, and you go, that's why I'm fucking here, to collect a paycheck.
It sounds like you're only here for the money. Yeah.
Yeah, I hate it when they go like, well, I hope you're not in this job for the money. We're in this for the job experience and the, giving great customer service. And you go, fuck the customer.
Yeah.
Is the customer going to pay my electricity bill? No, I have to. The only way to do that is to get money from you assholes.
Oh, yes. I totally came to this job to get yelled at by old white people who think that they know what's best for the city. Eat my fucking half-hairy, sweaty, disgusting, unwashed, unshaved, unkempt, pimply...
Unkempt?
Yeah. Unkempt, pimply, pus-filled, stinky, oozing, festering anus. Did that paint a colorful enough picture for you?
Man.
You're welcome.
You just think to yourself, what the fuck? Why is it when you become a manager, you just lose common sense? Like...
Oh, I don't. I was a fucking great manager. Except for the fact that I wasn't really, but I was cool.
Well, because you weren't like all the other managers. You weren't willing to, like, throw other people under the bus and, act like a shitty person.
Dude,
you were a normal human being.
Do you know how many times I could have thrown employees under the bus because they didn't do anything, and instead I just sucked it up and just cleaned up after them?
Yeah, there's your problem right there. That's management 101. Is you can't do that. When you're a manager, you got to find someone to blame, even if they didn't do anything, and blame it on them, even though it was either your fault or you didn't get on them, they didn't do it properly. But you still got to blame somebody. Sorry out there for anyone who's a manager, and maybe you're one of the cool ones, but most managers lose common sense when they become a fucking manager.
It's like, oh, I remember being a cool guy. Let me just take this manual I wrote on being a cool guy and pee on it while laughing maniacally.
Yeah, it's like...
Now get back to your fucking job. Whoosh.
Yeah, no. You can't talk to your boss because, again, when you were a coworker and you talk to your other coworkers, you don't really talk about your job unless you make fun of it. But when you become a manager, you kiss ass and you had to talk great about the job, so now that's all you know.
Oh yeah, I love doing inventory and keeping track of that shit on my days off, when I'm at home, supposed to be relaxing. That's awesome.
I love, getting called in on my one day off a week, and I say, no, I'm going to see my niece's dance recital, and then you guys guilt me or threaten to fire me, and I come in, you don't need me, I'm just an extra guy. Yeah, I love making small talk about that. You want to talk about hockey next? Great.
Yes, I'm mad.
It's, you talk to your boss and you think to yourself, dude, I don't want to talk to you right now. You're a nice guy, but you're my boss. You could fire me right now and just make something up, and there's pretty much nothing I can do because I don't have the money to sue you or whatever. So I just have to just kind of bend over backwards and let you spank me all day long, and if I ask you to ease up on the spanking, you're just going to spank harder, or just not spank me and throw me out on the street. But you want to talk to me about, what my favorite sport is, and I have to pretend like I'm enjoying it. Not even Leonardo DiCaprio could act his way through that shit. Ain't that right, Bobby D?
Yeah. America, home of the free, land of the... Yeah.
Oh, man.
So, when this podcast goes up, E3 is going to be happening. Woo!
Boom!
Woo!
Any exciting games coming out? I know there's another Mega Man coming out.
Oh, yeah. Mega Man 11 was announced since the last time we recorded. Well, it was already announced, but they have a release date now and a trailer. And Metallica, you got to make your 11th album so you can catch up. So we can compare Mega Man 11 to it and complete the fucking ritual.
Speaking of which, what'd you think of Ain't My Bitch?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You ain't my ooh, bitch.
You ain't mine. It's fun.
It was good. Oh, King Nothing came on the radio today.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a good song.
It was weird. I wasn't expecting it.
Yeah, I know. You don't really see or hear a lot of load and reload. Well, you hear fuel, but you don't hear a lot of load on the radio.
Anyway, no more Metallica. We're Metallica'd out. Saint Anger. We're no more Metallica. We got to talk about E3. So, it's no secret that Call of Cthulhu will come out in 5 years. But
I'm looking up updates for that shit.
but so we're going to play a little game on Korn and Kock right now.
Ooh.
See, when I'm editing this, Nintendo and Sony and Microsoft and whatever will have already had their fucking conferences. So, we're going to make predictions, and depending on what we get right, we'll get points, and if we get things wrong, we'll get negative points. And then, at the end, we'll tally up the rights and wrongs, and then, I don't know, Stone will get naked on camera.
What?
No.
Sorry, I'm looking.
No,
No release date.
I don't know. I'll probably ask someone on the Discord. You know what? We'll do that. We'll do an update. We'll find out what you people want to see from us if we get our predictions wrong. Anyway, I'm gonna do Nintendo. These are the Korn and Kock E3 predictions for 2018, and I'm gonna start with Nintendo. I think they're going. Of course, they're gonna fucking announce Smash Brothers for the Switch, but I think. So here's my prediction, right? So there's a bunch of these leaks out by this one guy who leaked, like Injustice 2. Whatever the fuck the character, like he said that the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were gonna be in Injustice 2, and everyone was like, "Fuck you, you liar! What the hell are you talking about? A game about DC heroes fighting, and they're gonna throw in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? What are you, fucking high?" And then it actually happened. It really happened. They were in the game, so I trust this man. He says that like all the characters from the previous game are staying, and that like the Ice Climbers are coming back. Snake from Metal Gear Solid's coming back. Wolf is coming back. And then we got like 18 million newcomers. You know what? I'm going to say that leak is real. That's my first prediction. Leak is real. Smash Bros. Leak is real. We're going to get no Metroid Prime 4 footage. We are going to get no Pikmin 4. We are going to get just Reggie's going to come out on stream with like a big purple rubber dildo. Just slap people around with it.
It's pretty.
Stone, what do you think's gonna happen this E3?
I don't know anything about E3.
What do you think Sony's gonna reveal? What do you think they're gonna do this year?
I don't know. Dude, I have no idea. What is E3? I know it's a video game thing, but I don't know anything. I don't know any rumors. I don't know.
Well, isn't that delightful?
Fine, then I'll make guesses for you. So, Sony will announce the same things they announced the past 3 years. We still won't know anything about Death Stranding. We'll see more gameplay for that Spider-Man game that was revealed, 2 years ago. We're gonna see Last of Us poo. We're gonna see all this shit. And Microsoft's just gonna come out and Todd Howard's gonna be like, buy Skyrim again. You'll do it.
I have a couple questions about some video games other than Call of Cthulhu.
Okay.
Even though I just checked it.
Okay.
Still no release date.
Answer away.
There's Dead Island 2. Like the official Dead Island 2 sequel, not the... Because I know they made Dead Island Riptide, which was like a spin-off, but... Dead Island 2 is supposed to be like, Dead Island, but it's supposed to be in San Francisco, which I'm looking for. I really enjoyed Dead Island, but again, like Call of Cthulhu, they make the game, they make the trailer, then it just disappears. But Dead Island 2 has been around for 2 years now. Trailer released like a year and a half ago, and we still got nothing.
Well, that's how most of us feel about the Spider-Man game. Like everyone 2 years ago was like, "Oh my God, this is going to be the definitive Spider-Man game," and it's been 2 years and they still haven't released it.
Yeah, I know. Like this Call of Cthulhu thing. I remember the last video game that I really got hyped for was Black Ops 3, and that was way back in November of 2015. I bought it And I didn't realize that in order to get story mode, you had to go on Xbox One, buy that version. And I was so pissed off and so disappointed that I just kind of gave up on video games. But then Call of Cthulhu came around. And it was thanks to some fuckhead that I don't even know if I've even talked to. I just became friends with him on Facebook. But anyways, he shared something about Call of Cthulhu, and I'm like, hey, this looks really cool. And then bam, the fourth quarter of 2017, and I'm like, all right, cool. Well, we all know what happens at the end of that story. We're still waiting, and I think that's all with video games. Well, I guess there's still Call of Duty. They're still doing that 3-year cycle, and yeah, I don't know. Oh, Grand Theft Auto 6.
What?
Grand Theft Auto 6.
They officially announced that?
Well, kind of.
I haven't seen any announcements for that. I feel like I would have seen that by now.
Well, they say stuff like, we're developing it. Can you tell us about it? No.
Of course not.
Okay.
You fucking moron.
But I also heard a rumor it's not going to be out for like another 10 years.
Here's some of my smegma to compensate. Chew on that while you're waiting.
I also heard Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to take place across the whole country instead of just one city.
Good lord. That's epic.
You know what they should do? They should create a Grand Theft Auto, but Fargo style, and just have it take place in Montana.
What?
You ever seen Fargo?
What the fuck is Fargo?
It's a movie.
I don't watch movies. Why do you keep asking me if I see movies I do not see?
I don't know. Your favorite movie is Chronicle.
My
That's a
favorite
pretty
movie is
obscure
Chronicle.
movie.
The only reason I saw that is because Bad Seed in freshman year of high school invited me to go see it, and I was dating this girl at the time for like a month because she broke up with me after that, and I invited her to go, and then we went, and she was on her phone the whole time. It was fucking awkward. It was cool. I just remember going to that movie and like I paid no attention to her. I was just like enthralled in the film.
Yeah, that's the problem with me and like watching movies with.
It's like it's some bitch is trying to touch on your pubes and you're like, yo, can't you see that like Ricky Gervais is trying to make me laugh? Shut up.
I don't know. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna choose a movie over a woman, but like a few years ago, 2 years ago, I was watching a movie with my then girlfriend, and I was really watching the movie and enjoying it, and she was like, I think she was just getting bored with the movie, and she just wanted to like fool around. And in my head, I remember thinking to myself, man, but I wanted to watch the movie. And then I thought to myself, all right.
Isn't that like the worst conflict you could possibly have as a guy?
It's a good conflict because you go, well, I really like the movie, but I've already seen it, but she wants to do it, so I'm gonna do it.
She wants to do it.
Bummer about the movie, but it's okay. I'll settle with it later. So yeah, but then I hear like a long time ago. I remember long time ago in my head, the dirtiest thing in my head was like getting a hand job. I used to think getting a hand job was like the dirtiest thing you could do. But again, that was a long time ago. So when a friend of mine told me that he got a hand job in the movie theater watching Inception and everything else, I'm like, what? It like blew my mind. And I remember thinking like, dude, what'd you think of this movie? And he'd be like, I don't know, I wasn't really paying attention. And I'm like, why? Didn't you see it last week in the theater? And he's just like, yeah, I was getting a hand job. And I was like, okay, first of all, lucky you. Second of all, the movie's an hour and a half or 2 hours. What were you doing for the whole 2 hours? There's no way it was a 2-hour hand job. That sounds terrible. And 3, what the fuck?
Your dick is just like all the skin's peeled off and it looks like a raisin.
Yeah, I don't
It looks
know.
like a weird fucking.
You know-
It looks like a red Twizzler.
You know,
at the end.
getting a hand job and nothing else is like, it sounds good, but it's really kind of awkward. If you're just getting a hand job,
She's just kind of
nothing
sitting
else.
there going, so. I did the motion even though you guys can't see.
Yeah, I know.
It's like, so. You read the Harry Potter books? I did. They're all right. Yeah.
And you're just kind of sitting
Oh,
there.
looks like I'm coming. Oh. And that's it.
I don't know, you sit there, you lay down, and when you sit up, that's even more awkward because you feel like, you're sitting.
You're just
straight
sitting there
up.
like just your fucking beer in it's a little cozy in your one hand, and you have the remote control in the other hand. You're just sitting there. You're not doing anything. And you're just waiting for it to be over.
I know.
Just looking at your dick like, come on, buddy, wrap it up.
I know, you think to yourself,
The game's over in 5 minutes. Come on.
I got better things to do. But there's no way you can fake coming. You either come or you don't. You can't be like, and she's like, what are you doing?
And I'm like, oh, I came. Hooray.
I mean, it is possible to finish without anything to come out, but, doing that in front of someone else is definitely, like, not something you want to do.
It's kind of weird. Girls will look at you funny for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I know. Poor women, man. Like, I feel for women sometimes. As much as I, like, get frustrated with not all women, but, like, some women in my life, I most of all, like, feel really bad for them. I mean, it's one thing to, like, constantly put yourself in positions where guys are going to send you dick pics. Maybe you should just stop going on Tinder dates and going out with guys that you just met. If you knock that off, then I guarantee the dick pic ratio will go down. But even then, because is there ever such a thing as a wanted dick pic?
No!
Exactly. I mean, like I said, is there ever a good dick pic? I just feel like a dick pic is always either going to be a joke or unwanted.
I don't understand what guys are trying to accomplish when they send people pictures of their wee-wee. It's just like, hey, I want this girl to notice me and recognize me and be interested in me. Let me just send her a picture of my flaccid fucking burnt Crayola crayon penis, and then maybe they'll respond.
Yeah, I know. And then,
like, just fucking, I don't know. Like, I've never done this, but I'm sure if I, like catfished some guy, like, and let him on, he'd send me some, like, gross-ass fucking shriveled up curly pigtail wiener. Just the most disgusting.
Yeah, I know.
That's probably the gayest thing I've ever said in my life. I think I just said the gayest thing I've ever said in my life. The possibility of me catfishing guys to see what their dicks look
You
like.
might want to stop while you're ahead of the game, fam.
Yeah, alright, I won't talk about it anymore.
But basically, like I said, I feel bad for women because they constantly, get hit on. They can't, every guy or most guys have a second agenda. They just want to sleep with them. And I get you can't always fully trust guys when you first meet them. But sometimes I talk to some women and they tell me how they're getting dick pics or like harassed. And it's on like a Tinder. And I go, well, why don't you just not use Tinder anymore?
Either that
or
or
just stop. And
I'm sorry to interrupt, but either that or it's like a girl who's like, guys won't stop messaging me. I feel harassed. Meanwhile, you go on their Snap story and it's literally just them in their like a baggy t-shirt with no bra on, and they're like, they pull down the shirt so you can see like most of their cleavage, and they're making like the peace sign, and you can totally see that they're the ones pulling down their shirt. It wasn't an accidental thing. It was just they did it like because they wanted attention. And then they get the attention. They're like, that's not what I meant. It's like in the Fairly Odd Parents where like Timmy and that one girl, Trixie, are like the last people on Earth. And he's like, gosh, you're pretty. Gosh, you're pretty. And she's like, I know. It's like,
well,
like, what do they want?
Women want attention, but they don't want your complete, full attention. And they don't want 100% attention, because then when they get it, they're going to instantly regret it. You got to meet them halfway. It's kind of like guys want women, but guys don't want a woman around them 24/7. They'd go crazy. They couldn't be able to do their own thing. They couldn't watch the game. They couldn't play video games. They couldn't hang out with, certain guys.
They could, but they'd probably get like a boring hand job halfway through.
Or they just get dirty looks or whatever.
Eventually, they'd just be like, oh, not this shit again. I'm at level 4. Just let me play the game.
It's like, oh fuck, is it only 7:30? Shit.
Okay,
Whoa.
that was me. I'm sorry.
That was not me.
I'm sorry. Jeez, the microphone is. I turned the gain way too high. See, what's messing me up is that like
you can totally see the huge
like,
wavelength.
Well, yeah, like so on Audacity right now, like usually the waveforms, like usually they're a lot more like they spread throughout the entire thing. Like they're more wide, but like when I started the recording, they were like very tiny, and I thought that meant that we were being very quiet. Quite the contrary. I turned the gain all the way up, and the loud parts where we get really loud are probably gonna be fucking ear grating, and I'm gonna have to like fucking silence the sound clips like so bad. I gotta find a way to equalize the audio so that like when we talk low, it sounds normal, and when we talk high, we sound normal. So it's not like this. Just like I have to find this parts where we're really quiet, make it louder, and vice versa.
Yeah.
You know.
No, I got you.
You know. This is an amateur hour here. This is Korn and Kock.
This is Korn and Kock. Yeah, but you know, women are just like you feel for them. I really do. But there again, there's just some things I can never relate to. I can't relate to having a period. I can't relate to giving childbirth. I can't relate to waking up to hundreds of messages from women because that doesn't happen to me. I wake up and it's usually my mom telling me to
get the fuck up,
wake up and go do something with your life, or my dad saying, "Hey, let the dogs out," or
excuse me,
you or Russell sending me a picture of Thanos going like this.
He's making a weird face.
I wake up to those messages.
I never message people when I wake up. I wake up and I go, I want to die.
Well, keep in mind, I wake up later than you do.
I'm like your dad. I wake up every morning and I go, please fucking kill me. And I just stare at the ceiling and go, please fucking kill me. Roll out of bed. Like,
that's how I start every day. I usually wake up and I go, oh, great.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
I didn't die while I was sleeping.
Yeah, you hit the alarm or hit snooze and you lay in bed and you go, how have I not won the lottery yet?
So dude, well, did you know, statistically speaking, most people who win the lottery are more likely to commit petty crimes and also get
stupid.
more trouble? Well,
what do they do?
Well, yeah, but that's what most people say. That most people are like, "Hey, if I win the lottery, I'm gonna be an upstanding citizen, and I'm not gonna do anything, and I'm not gonna drink and drive." And then, like, statistically speaking, the people who say that are still most likely to do those things. I read this.
I ain't fucking doing that.
I read this article where it was like, this guy won like mega millions, and he was one of those like upstanding citizens who, you know, minded his own business and, you know, did his own thing, and he had a family and all that stuff. And then like his daughter died and his granddaughter died of like drug overdose, and people stole from them, and he got multiple DUIs, and like suddenly people started following him home, coming to his home every day, telling him where to invest the money. People came up to him on the streets asking him for money. Fucking, like, just, he had people watching him, like, literally just, like, sitting outside his house, like, seeing what he would do. And it's just fucking scary. It's like...
Well, again, like, what kind of petty crimes are these people committing? Are they just, they win and then they go and rob...
Well, no. But petty crimes, I don't mean, like, they go out and they fucking kick a kindergartner in the balls. I mean, they you know, drink and drive, or they get caught with cocaine or something.
They tell themselves, I won the lottery, I'm going to be an outstanding citizen, blah, blah, blah. And I wouldn't do it because, first of all, I already don't drink or do any of that dumb stuff. Here's what I would do if I won million. If I won 1,000, I'm keeping that for myself. But if I won 1,000,000, first of all, I would not, you know, go out and brag about it, blah, blah, blah. I would get it, and first thing I would do is...
Shut my fucking mouth.
Well, I would pay off, you know, go up to my dad and be like, how much money do you need to pay off all your bills? There you go. Go up to my mom, same thing. Go up to, like, my family, pay off all their bills. Bam, all done. Then I'd have to ask someone else, but invest it, because, you know, people always tell you, you win the lottery, you invest it, and then you can, you know, win a lot back, or make more, something like that. And then I might buy a better car, and then maybe go buy a nice house or whatever, and then that's it. I ain't gonna go buy a Hummer, you know, a Humvee H1. I'm not gonna go live in Paradise Valley and get a multi-million-dollar house or whatever. Literally, fucking nothing. I would still work a normal job. You need money coming in. I would just not give a shit. You know, if I won $5 million, I'll still work at McDonald's. I just won't give a shit. In fact, I might try to get fired and just see what it would take and see what I can get away with.
Like, the most important thing when winning the lottery is to just, like, not tell anybody. Because as soon as you let people know, well, the word spreads, and then everyone's like, oh, this guy's got tons of money. Let's fucking, like, whether or not those people are good people or not, they'll be like, oh, let's see how we can take advantage of this. Because that's how people are. That's just how they are. No matter how good of a person you are, if you see someone who has lots of money, you're going to go up to them and be like, hey, I've been your friend for like 7 years, hey, give me some,
I think I've deserved a
give me some of that dough,
I think I've deserved like $1,500.
Like, come on. It's just, it's simple social science. It's sad, but it's true, by Metallica. And,
it is.
Like, the biggest thing is just, like, gotta not even hire a lawyer. Just fucking don't tell anybody.
And don't spend it all immediately. Like, don't win the lottery and then go take your winnings and go to the casino and bet all of it so you'll win 10 times more. Don't do that either. Just don't do anything.
Korn and Kock life tips brought to you by...
Man, this fucking bump is still in my hand. You see that?
Oh, I do see that.
What is that?
I want to say it might be a cyst.
That's what I thought.
You could go get a check. It doesn't look like it's serious. It might be like a benign tumor.
What's a benign tumor?
A benign tumor means it's just a tumor that doesn't do anything. It's not cancerous. It's not.
Because it doesn't really hurt if I push
down
on it.
Well, I mean, yeah, because it's pushing against your veins and tendons and shit.
Like
of course, it would hurt.
If
I push down enough on my hand, it hurts.
Well, then people look at it and they go like, "Does it hurt?" I'm like, "No, watch this," and then I can go like that. Well, it's like that scene with Drake when he's like, "Look at my hand," and then he goes like,
"Oh, he like flicks his wrist and it like sounds like it's breaking."
Yeah, that would absolutely destroy my hand. But, I can go like this and nothing there. And it's like right on top and in between two veins.
So it's either like a cyst or like a benign tumor.
I mean, sometimes I sleep on my hand.
Either way, I'd say go get it checked out because
here's my wallet is telling me to wait 3 months. And if it doesn't go away, then I'll tell somebody and then we'll consider getting
just go on IMDb and they'll tell you have stage 4 hand cancer.
Yeah, if I go on,
and then you have to chop off your hand.
Yeah, if I go on Google and type in, I don't feel too good, it's gonna be like, well, you have cancer. You're gonna die tomorrow.
I don't feel too good, Alex. I don't feel too good, and you turn into ash and then you fly away.
Mr. Korn, I don't feel too good. Again, briefly again, I wish Marvel movies would just be more realistic because, and again, spoiler, if you haven't seen Avengers, it's really your fault. Well, Avengers Infinity War, sorry.
Isn't that weird? Going back to what we were talking about before you finish your tangent.
What?
We were talking about at the beginning of the podcast and how Titanic was like the highest grossing film of all time, but now it's Avengers Infinity War. Isn't it weird? Avengers is like the only series of movies where all 3 of them are like in the top 10 highest grossing films of all time.
Aren't they in like the top 5? No, top 10, yeah.
Well, like top 10 in like with today's economic standing. Like if you want to take inflation and all that shit into account, then you can be an old-fashioned faggot and do that. Because if you're being really scientific, then it's like Gone with the Wind was the...
Actually, yeah.
Like, who gives a shit?
Gone with the Wind.
Who gives a shit? Yeah, like, okay, sure, you could buy a candy bar for 2 cents back in like 1910. Do I care? No. People were also still dying of polio. Things change, man.
I know.
And you know what else is changing?
Think about this. The Cubs won the World Series in 1908.
Yes.
They didn't win until 2016. That's 108 years. Do you know how much things have changed since then? Bread wasn't even invented in 1908.
What do you mean bread wasn't even
Sliced bread wasn't even invented in 1908.
You mean white bread?
No,
like,
sliced bread.
Like loaf of bread?
Bread. Sliced bread, white bread, whatever you want to call it. Sliced bread was not a thing in 1908.
That's my favorite thing to do when someone comes up to me and says something funny. I go, just like really awkwardly.
Well,
you were saying about being realistic with Marvel movies.
Yeah, again, if you haven't seen Avengers Infinity War, it's your fault. But at the end of the movie, half the people turn to dust. But again, my problem is, if you were to turn into dust, and it's not you don't turn into dust, you just like slowly fade away, and you go, whoa, and then you disappear. In the movies, they just look at themselves, and they go, oh, I'm fading. Or they look at Cap, and they go, Cap, and then that's it. In real life, I'd be like, holy shit, what the fuck is happening to me? And then bam, I'm gone. So like, I tell Alex, I'm like, look, Alex, if I was standing in front of you, and I started turning into dust and was like fading away, You think I would either look at you and be like, holy shit, Alex, I'm fading away, blah, blah, blah. Or I'd be like, dude, get Snapchat out. This is fucking epic. I better see this in the next compilation. And then I'm dead. I just want to see an R-rated Avengers, not for the action or the blood, for the language. Because again, if you see aliens in the sky, you're going to be, oh, fuck. You're not going to be like, oh, no.
Dude, what the fuck did you put in this pot?
Oh yeah, a bunch of drug references would be acceptable too. Like
the Avengers are fighting, and then it's just a cutaway scene where there's a bunch of like meth heads in like an apartment, like just a crack den in New York City, and they're all sitting around doing lines, and all of a sudden Captain Marvel flies through, like fighting a bunch of four-armed aliens, and they're like, oh,
yeah, like, or like if, oh, this would never fly, but if like the setting, you know, they're fighting somewhere, and then Captain America flies through the wall and he stands up and everyone's like looking at him. They're all like smoking weed, and if Cap goes like, what are you guys smoking? And they're like, oh, we're smoking Dungeon Dragon, and Cap was like, that's some good shit, and then flies out. Do you know how funny that would be?
He's like Purple Urkel's way better, and then like jumps out the fucking hole he just made.
And then the post-credit scene is them buying that drug, and they're like, oh, guys,
they're just like, yeah, these kids, they told me this. I've been wanting to try this out. And then it's just Tony and fucking Cap, and they're smoking, and he's like, dude, you fucking flew a nuke into space, dude. And he's like, dude. And then Cap's like, dude. And then Tony like has a PTSD flashback, and then like has a stroke during his high, making him scared to do marijuana ever again.
That's another thing. How come in Iron Man
3?
Was it 3 when he had PTSD?
Yeah, because that was after Avengers. That was like the first movie.
Oh,
that
yeah,
came out
okay,
after
Iron Man 2
Avengers.
was before. Okay, how come in Iron Man 3, is there like a deleted scene where he has like a PTSD and then Iron Fuck runs out and he's just like, whoa, Tony, do you need some? I got some stuff in the car.
Hey, Tony, I got that good. You ready to roll?
I mean, come on, like.
He's like, you ready to fly real high?
You ever try one of these? You ever try one of these?
It's like, hey man, it's just it's instead of like having Don Cheadle play him, it's just Dave Chappelle.
No, Chris Tucker or Dave Chappelle.
And he's like, hey man, you ever try some of this? Get you real high.
How have you flown recently? No, but
I'm selling weed, nigga.
What? Oh, come on. Yeah.
I'm not censoring that.
No,
That's part of his stand-up.
That. You gotta.
That's part of his stand-up.
Yeah, but dude, nowadays you can't say like hardly any. Even if you're quoting direct material.
Hey, if Louis C.K. can come on his tummy in a public bathroom
Look what
stall,
happened with
I can
Louis
do
C.K.
whatever I want, man.
Look what happened with Louis C.K. You wanna? Is that your first go-to?
I in the back of my mind, I wasn't really feeling a lot of this podcast. Like, it wasn't a bad podcast, but it just kind of felt like we were just like going through the motions. I think now is finally when we've like it is late. It is late.
Well, it's
but
late,
just...
and I also said, oh, it's a new day now. But
oh shit, it's already 12. What the fuck, man?
Yeah, I know. I guess
what the fuck, man.
I guess I gotta write both days. I gave a fair warning.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've done this. We're going back to the original schedule, boys.
Yeah, and it might be like late or whatever because first of all, Korn doesn't get off work until 8:30, and I either have the whole night off or I'm working until 10, 11, 11:30.
Well, I mean, I do have weekends off, but Stone's usually at Diamondback Stadium.
Chase Field.
What? Chase Stadium.
Chase Field.
Dude, oh my god. I gotta tell this like quick story. So today we were driving downtown, like around Talking Stick Arena, and I could see Chase Field, and there was this bike that was apparently in this parking garage, and I was just with this dude who just doesn't give a fuck. He's not bad or anything. He's just we didn't say anything to each other most of the car ride. We're just not very social people, so most of the time we were just listening to the radio. Yeah. And then we get to this parking garage, he's like, yo, hop out and I'll just keep driving around the block until I see you come out again. And I was like, okay. And I got out and I ran through it, and people were honking at me, and I was like, fuck this. I couldn't find the bike, so I go out on street level, and people are looking at me like I'm a fucking swamp monster that just crawled out of the Black Lagoon. And I go to stand by the corner, and I see him. He's like, the guy is driving the van. He's on the corner, and he honks at me, and I'm like, oh shit. And then he points to me, and he's like, walk towards this block. I'll pull over. And I turn around, and there's this kid who's like less than half my size, and I accidentally like bumped into him while I was turning around, and he like jumped back and looked like he was about to start fucking crying. I'm like, dude, oh my god, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to. And he just kind of like scurried away, and I was like, shit, people probably saw that and thought I was like a pedophile or something. Even though there was like no malicious intent. Like I was literally just turning around and getting ready to walk back into the van. And then this fucking kid comes out of the woodwork. He comes out of my asshole and he's like, excuse me, you bumped into me. It's like, glad we got the fuck out of there.
It's funny nowadays. You either need like an accusation and you're guilty, or you can have all the evidence, camera, photo, everything, and it's like, yeah, you get 5 years jail.
5 years with the hope of probation at 3 months.
3 months? It's like 2 months. Oh, you got out of good behavior, a month and a half into this 15-year sentence, and you're like, okay,
well,
why
it's just
the fuck
like,
is it so bad if someone buys weed, smokes it for fun again, whatever?
Well, yeah.
Well, I don't think it should be that strict. Don't get me wrong. If there's a law is saying, well, another thing too, if there's a law saying don't do it, then don't fucking do it. What's the problem?
Well, I mean, like, well, in the case of weed, it's just like, I'm talking specifically in the case of weed. Yeah. It's just like, it's legal if you have the license.
Yeah, your card. I got my card.
I got my card.
Let's go celebrate tonight.
Like, it's so dumb. It's like, so it's like this weird double standard, right? So it's like in some states it's perfectly legal and Colorado. You can do whatever you want. Colorado, Oregon, California. California's legal.
Is it California?
It's recreational use is legal in California, I think. If I'm
Is it completely 100% legal?
I think so. Maybe I might be wrong. I'm very ignorant.
I'm surprised I don't see more like 15-year-olds running around California, because that's why everyone in high school wants to go to Colorado, because weed is legal. Well, guess what? If you go to Colorado, no one smokes weed. You know why? Because it's legal. So there's no the adventure of getting caught and doing it behind closed doors. You can go to a park and smoke weed. No one cares because it's legal.
Well, I mean, people smoke weed in parks here too, but I mean, like, if you get caught, you go to fucking jail. It's just weird here because, like, lots of states have medical marijuana dispensaries, and all you need to do is say, I stubbed my toe last week one day, and it hurts. Can I have my card? And then the doctor will be like, seems legit, here's your card. And then it's like, it's legal for you now. It's just like, why not just make it legal for the entire country? What's the fucking difference?
I mean, yeah, and here's the other thing. It's like, if you just... Because my biggest problem was people who would just smoke weed just to smoke weed. They're not even doing it to enjoy it. They're doing it because they need it to act normal, which is like, hey, that's what you do with hardcore drugs. You need it just to act normal and everything. Not that I'm comparing anything. But when someone every once in a while would be like, hey, can you not smoke it? I just, this one time, can you give me a solid? They're just like, no, I need to do it. I had a rough day. I need to do it. And you're like, dude, you don't need to do it. You want to do it. You don't have a medical card. You don't have anything else. You just want to do it.
You got it from Pat down at fucking the Tucson McDonald's.
Yeah, I know.
What the fuck?
And the other thing is, like, someone gets caught with weed and they get in trouble. You go, well, don't do it next time. But I want to do it. Well, if you get caught doing it next time, you're not. I hope I don't hear you go, shit. Why? How did this happen? You go, dude.
It's like maybe you shouldn't have been driving 90 in a 25.
Or maybe you shouldn't have been going 5 on the freeway.
Like, either or. It's like, don't complain if you're going to do stupid shit. Anyway, we're running like, this podcast has been going on quite a bit longer than our usual.
Let me wrap up this tangent on this note. And here's the other thing. Weed is a drug. I know it comes from the ground, but it's a fucking drug.
You were saying?
I'm just saying. Oh yeah, weed is a drug. A bunch of these people say weed is not a drug, it's normal, natural. Well, that's true, and it's also still a drug. Now, I'm not saying I'm against it, or it is a drug, so it's bad, blah, 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 but it's a fucking drug.
Just own up to it. Don't be like, it's nature's medicine, man. Nah.
Nature's medicine, that's a drug.
Nah, dude, you smoke it and you go, woo!
It's
like the people. It's in like those Native Americans cultures where like a rite of passage is like you drink the juice from like this special cactus, And
And for
apparently
others-
you fucking trip balls for a few hours, and that's supposed to be like your spiritual awakening. It's like
And for others,
you did drugs. You did It's not like this. Yeah, the meaning behind it was very spiritual, and it meant more than like, yeah, let's just do this to get fucked up. But you still did drugs. Like there's no getting around that.
And then it's funny that you mentioned a rite of passage, because for some that's a rite of passage, and for others it's going to a whorehouse in Texas and losing your virginity in there. That's a rite of passage for some people.
All right, Timmy, you're about that age. Uncle Pappy's gonna get you a good old hooker. She gonna suck your dick real good.
Did you know my grandfather actually wanted to do that with me?
I think that's a bad idea.
Yeah.
You can get gonorrhea for syphilis.
I asked my uncle, I was like, hey, what does a rite of passage mean? And he kind of like hesitates, and I'm like, what? What does it mean? He's like, well, what do you think it means? And I'm like, it means you're going to the next stage of life, like being an adult. He's like, yes, that's correct. Now, and then he goes, let me tell you what your grandfather wanted to do with you. And I'm like, okay, this should be good, especially when you say becoming an
You
adult.
clap your hands and you rub them together, and you're like, all right, it's gonna be good.
And he goes, your grandfather, when you became an adult on your 18th birthday, or 21st, I don't remember which one. I think he said 18. He said when your grandfather, when you turn 18, wants to take you to a Texas whorehouse and have you pick a prostitute and have sex with that prostitute, and then you will become a man. That is a rite of passage in his book. And I'm like, does my mom know about this? And he goes, oh yeah, your whole family knows. The whole family knows about it. And I'm like, well, I would never do that. And he goes, well, yeah, you're not gonna. That's why he's not going anywhere near you on your 18th birthday, because he's probably gonna kidnap you, take you to a whorehouse, and I'd be like, dude, even if I would just pull a Catcher in the Rye and just talk to the person.
Yeah, just like kind of sit there and be like, you read the Harry Potter books recently?
And like,
I don't know why that's my default, but it's just
they'd
like,
sit on one side of the room and I'd sit on the other, and I'd be like, yo,
you excited for Call of Cthulhu?
you heard anything about that Call of Cthulhu game? Or Cthulhu? Still waiting for a release date on that.
And she's like, $400, please.
You know, it's sad to think about how much money you can make either as a prostitute or selling drugs. Like, it is so not fair when you find out.
Either that or going back in time and investing in Bitcoin.
My God, Bitcoin.
Dude, let's not even talk about that. We'll be here for another half an hour. Anyway, let's hit it. Let's hit you guys up with another Korn and Kock rewind. Play the clip.
Here's Kock.
That was amazing.
I probably fucked it up by doing that sound.
Nah, it's cool.
Alright. So, this is a first because we started on June 7th and went into the 8th.
This is the latest podcast / earliest podcast we've ever recorded.
This was a 2-day effort, literally. So I'm wearing my Texas Rangers hat. And, well, we talked about Star Wars again for the 15 billionth time.
Dude,
So,
it's
there
like
we go.
Saint Anger. We got to bring it up every single time.
yeah, I haven't been seeing a lot of St. Anger fists in the photos.
Yeah, I kind of
covers.
dropped off that meme. Like,
I liked it. It was always like, because sometimes I wouldn't catch it at first, and sometimes I would immediately get it.
well, now I have to do it. I've got to do it so discreetly that like you don't even notice.
Like the one where the eclipse and you like had half the fist covered.
That was
I didn't
amazing.
catch that.
That was amazing.
It was amazing.
All right, continue.
Well, we talked about 13 Reasons Why. We did a review, kind of. We didn't really talk about the show that much. We talked about everything but the show. But there you go. And then I hope you guys learned that you don't mess with Alex B. Or Zane. You know, I'm going to write that. Or Zane.
Or Zane.
Because you will die.
You will die.
This episode is brought to you by The Necromancer by Rush.
Ooh.
It's a good one. Kind of infamous. Since it almost ruined Rush's career. That and The Fountain of Lamneth. And there were too many topics. I can't remember all of them. I literally wrote that down.
Nice.
So that's it for the review over here. Any closing? What's your closing statement?
My closing statement is
Yes.
that if you or a loved one have been diagnosed with mesothelioma, you may be entitled to a substantial financial compensation if you or a loved one dies. Call 1-800-GOFUCKYOURSELF. That's 1-800 go fuck yourself.
It's 1-800 the Eagle. You know, one time I went into a phone store, and you know that number 1-800 the Eagle. That was Goldberg and Osborne, right?
I think so.
Yeah. So I was in a phone store, and I was like 12, and I was walking around looking at phones because I'm super bored. And I'm going over to phones that are on display, so I type in 1-800 the Eagle, and I'm like, hee. And then the person answered, and they're like, hello, Goldberg and Osborne. I'm like, shit. So I close the phone, I walk away, and then in behind me I can hear, hello, who is this? And I thought to myself, thank God, like, no one was standing next to me when I did that, especially being a kid, because I would have easily gotten in trouble and probably kicked out of the store.
Oh, Bunny Bear, you came to interrupt us at the very end of the podcast. It is a blessing from above.
But you're late. Anyways, you want to get something to eat?
Yeah, I just got to turn off my pool first.
All right, you want to go to Dutch afterwards?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
All right, everybody, thanks for joining us. Big shout out to Cosmic Gem for creating the intro song. Big Golden Shades for doing the thing. Keep sending us more questions. Links are down in the description. Join the Korn and Kock Discord. We will have fun things in the future, probably.
Send questions and send actual questions.
Stone's gonna open up the Twitter soon, so we'll have that. You'll have that to look forward to.
That is true. I need to do Twitter duty.
Check out Triple Backflip, our gaming channel. Well, not Stone and I's, but me and Alex's. Check out Stone's drum cover channel. If you like this fucking podcast, watch the other ones, please. They have like 5 views.
They have like 5 views. I think our most viewed one is the first one.
It is.
How many? It says 146 on mine, but I don't think that's updated.
I don't know, man. Either way, hope you guys watch this one just as many times. I don't know. Maybe one day we'll get a following and they'll watch back and they'll be like, huh, must have been a hard time for these guys getting only 5 views a video. Anyway, that's a good way to end. Goodbye, everybody. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.
Goodbye.
What the fuck was that noise?